What's up everyone, it's Scotty with Money Investing. In this video, we are going to be breaking down Advanced Micro Devices, ticker symbol AMD, and they are going to be reporting earnings for their first quarter fiscal year 23 on Tuesday, May 2nd, and that's going to be after the markets close. So I'm going to break down everything you need to know from an intrinsic value standpoint. We're going to calculate what the intrinsic value should be for Advanced Micro Devices. We're going to talk about the expected earnings, the revenue, the guidance, the cash flows, the valuation, the balance sheet. Everything is going to be included in this video. So make sure that you drop a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you're just joining us for the first time, the link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below if you're interested in joining us and of course getting access to all the buy and sell alerts, options alerts. Today is literally the last day if you want to take advantage of that 16% annual discount. So AMD, we've been covering it on the channel for now years. It's been quite a few years. We've been talking about Advanced Micro Devices. It's been a phenomenal company in terms of its growth of revenues and stock price performance as well. Lisa Su has really turned the company around, and this right here is going to be those revenue numbers, and growing from just under 5.3 billion to over 23.6 billion dollars for the company in 2022. So absolutely astronomical growth here for the company in terms of revenue. Operating income and gross profit. Gross profit specifically, you'll notice, has just gone parabolic from 1.9 billion to over 12 billion dollars for the company. And operating income has also ballooned to over $4 to $5 billion. However, because of their Xilinx acquisition, they did see a gap operating income of only 1.2 billion versus 3.6 billion in 2021. But nonetheless, it has been growing very nicely and consistently over the last several years. Net income, you'll notice, has, it was negative, so they were generating net losses. And as of 2021, they did 3.1 billion. The year before that, 2.5 billion. And again, on a non-GAAP basis, the net income was a lot higher than what's suggested over here on a GAAP basis of 1.3 billion. Shares outstanding has also gone up. So this is the only concerning part. This has only been the drawback for the company. However, more recently, though, they have been buying shares back, right? They've been authorizing shares for buybacks, and they have been doing a lot more of those in third quarter, fourth quarter of 22. And that's another thing that I will be paying attention to when they report earnings on Tuesday for the first quarter. What is the authorization for share buybacks, and what is the plan to buy back more shares moving forward? Because right now we have seen AMD pretty much grow their share count from 750 million something to over 1.5 billion shares outstanding. Now this right here is going to be the earnings expectations. Again, they are reporting on 5/2, that's May 2nd, after the markets close, and that's going to be 56 cents per share with revenues of just over 5.3 billion dollars and 29 downward revisions in the last 90 days. And that's why we're seeing all these earnings beats, because of all these downward revisions, right? Their expectations are coming down to pretty much rock bottom for a lot of these companies, and that's why they're able to beat expectations. But I think on a year-over-year basis, we are expected to see a decline for Advanced Micro Devices. Now, margins are still pretty strong, 51%. We're looking at net income margin at just over 5.5%. That's obviously a lot lower because, again, of the Xilinx acquisition. Free cash flow margin at over 16%. And return common equity, capital, and assets is not that low because, again, because of the net income being low, we are seeing some of these numbers also in the single digits, in the mid-single digits here. But it's also a lot higher because of the fact that AMD's non-GAAP earnings obviously are a lot higher for the company, which we'll dive into in just a minute. Total cash on the balance sheet of 5.8 billion, with total debt sitting at just under $3 billion. And as a result, the net debt for Advanced Micro Devices sitting at negative $2.9 billion, with a very solid current ratio and quick ratio of over 1, and debt to free cash flow at just a little bit over 3. So the balance sheet is absolutely fantastic for the company. More cash than debt on the balance sheet, more assets than liabilities, and debt to free cash flow also at a very, very strong number. So this right here is going to be annual financial results for Advanced Micro Devices for 2022. So again, you can see that revenues up 44% on a year-over-year basis. And then we had gross margins up 370 basis points, with operating income up 56% from 4 billion to over 6.3 billion. And we had net income at over $5.5 billion, up 60% on a year-over-year basis. And of course, earnings per share up 25% year-over-year to over $3.50. And of course, GAAP numbers are all down because of that Xilinx acquisition and all the amortization and intangible expenses the company had to write off. So you can see that gross margin was 45%, a decrease of 3 percentage points over 2021, primarily due to amortization of intangible assets associated with Xilinx acquisition. Non-GAAP gross margins, however, were over 52%. And you'll notice operating income 1.3 billion compared to 3.6 billion same time last year. And the decrease was primarily due to amortization of intangible assets associated with Xilinx acquisition. Non-GAAP operating income 6.3 billion compared to 4.1 billion same time last year, and same story with net income as well, 1.3 billion versus 3.2 billion because of the amortization of intangible assets with Xilinx acquisition. So overall, the company's still posting some very, very strong numbers. We're looking at 40-50% growth here in revenues and operating income, and net income also up over 60%. So needless to say that this is a strong company with consistently growing revenues, earnings and profitability and margins as well. This right here is the guidance for 2023. So they are expecting revenues in the first quarter of approximately $5.3 billion. Now, there was a time in the past for AMD when they did $5.3 billion the entire year. This was back in 2017 or 2018. You'll notice that AMD entire year was $5.2 billion. And now they're guiding for that much in one single quarter. So we have come a long way for Advanced Micro Devices. This, of course, is going to be plus minus 300% and a decrease of approximately 10% on a year-over-year basis. And year-over-year client and gaming segments are expected to decline, partially offset by embedded and data center segment growth. And AMD expects non-GAAP gross margins around 50% for the first quarter of 2023. So they are increasing in data center and embedded services, but they are expected to see declines in gaming and personal computing and client gaming as well. So those are some of the areas where there is going to be decline, and on a net basis, they're still expecting to see a potential decline here this year. Now, valuation is a little bit on the high side. So again, you'll notice that we are trading at 25 to 29 times earnings. Price to sales trading at a little bit over 5 or 6, and price to cash flow trading at over 27 to 40 times cash flow at the moment for Advanced Micro Devices. And these are the forecasts. Now, for this year, the earnings are expected to decline by 13.8%. Revenue is expected to stay flat and then accelerate to over 17%, 13%, 17%, all the way to $38 billion by 2027. And when it comes to earnings, they are expected to once again accelerate in 2024. Not in 2023, but in 2024 for the company. I just got to turn on this light here. So it is a lot better. I just noticed that I was getting a lot of background here. But anyway, so that's going to be the growth rate that we are going to price in for our analysis. And if you move over to the spreadsheet, what you'll notice is that the growth rate of 26% is what the expectations are for Advanced Micro Devices, going from $3.02 to over $7.67 for the company in 2027. So 26% growth is pretty strong, but it's also accounting for a decline in 2023. So what we are going to do is that we are going to make sure that 2027 earnings are intact with what the analysts have them pegged at $7.67. So I'm going to go with 16% growth rate here. And if I do that, you'll notice that the forecasted earnings in 2027 is going to be $7.36. And I'm also going to plug in negative 0.5% in share buyback because the company has been buying back shares. So again, you'll notice 755, very much in line with 767 is what the analysts are also forecasting. Now, P multiple, I'm going to keep that steady at 20 times price earnings multiple. We're going to plug in a 12% discount rate and 10% margin of safety. We get a fair value for Advanced Micro Devices at $77 per share. And the fact that it's trading at $89, we're not that far off, only 13% off from the intrinsic value for Advanced Micro Devices. And this right here is going to be that sensitivity grid for Advanced Micro Devices, where you can see 20 times P multiple and a 16% growth rate puts us at $77 in fair value for the stock. And again, you can do the analysis yourself, depending on the growth rate, depending on the P multiple for yourself, where that number is going to end up for you. But for me, $77 is a very, very good level to start accumulating Advanced Micro Devices again. I did exit a little bit of AMD at close to $104, $105 because I did have a covered call that expired in the money. And this right here is going to be that support at 77, right? So you can see this higher low from a technical standpoint because AMD has been trading inside this higher highs and higher low pattern. So this right here is going to be that higher low or that ascending support, and also in line with that 200 simple moving average for advanced micro devices. The lower the prices, the better for AMD, because it's going to start to become even more undervalued if it ends up trading at, let's say, 60 or 55 or $50 per share. But this right here, in my opinion, is going to be a very strong area of support for AMD, and also in line with the technical support and the intrinsic value for this company. So earnings, again, are going to be a binary event. It's a hit or miss. If you do get a big, huge breakout to the upside, resistance is going to be at $102, $103. So this right here is going to stay intact as a resistance. Its support level, like I said, is going to stay put at $78, $79 per share, in line with this higher low and that 200 simple moving average. So hope you guys enjoyed this video and a complete update on advanced micro devices. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, make sure that you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. As always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.